Hello, my name is Samuel Warwick. I have autism. The entertainment industry has been a huge part of my childhood. So, by being inspired to see other entertainment podcasters interviewing other people from television shows, I decided to do one myself. To know about some funny behind the scenes, bloopers, and some stuff that we probably didn't know about while they were making the certain type of show. This is Entertainment Treasure Talk with Samuel Warwick. Let's go to the podcast now. Sorry about this.
Let's go.
All right. Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Entertainment Treasure Talk with Samuel Warwick. I am your host, as always, Samuel Warwick, and this is a podcast where we talk about nostalgia all the way to what's going on now, of course. And here I have two other co-hosts with me. I have Martin Krebs and Wyatt McCullough. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Are you?
I am doing quite well today. I'm doing all right today, actually. So, yeah.
Who we got today?
Well, originally I wasn't going to do the introduction, but I'm going to have to do it again because we had some mix-up today, but from people. But that's okay. But anyway, so today our person today is actually a person that's designed for many things. He's done some stuff for Disney. He's done some stuff for DreamWorks, of course. And whatever, and of various TV shows. I would like to introduce to my podcast today, Gary Trousdale. If that got your name right. Is that it?
You did.
All right.
You got first try.
Yeah.
You?
Go.
All right.
There you
Hello.
go.
How are you doing today, sir?
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
So far, so good.
All right. Well, that's good. You know, I to be honest, I'm the biggest fan of Shrek. Of your work from Shrek, because I've seen a lot of them. Because Shrek's really funny, and I remember I used to watch
I don't know.
that Shrek movie like every holiday season. So it's really fun to see some work.
I know which one you're talking about. We'll get into it.
The Shrek the Halls, the Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, Shrek the
That's
Halls. That's really good. Sounds like Mark's having a little trouble with his mic, but anyway. So, first of all, we love to ask people, how did they get into business? So, how did you first start getting into the business, if I may ask?
It was a little bit of a roundabout thing. When I was in high school, junior high school, I wanted to be an architect, and took mechanical drawing and drafting and lettering and calligraphy and all that, and was doing good in that, but then learned that architecture takes an amount of engineering, which takes an amount of math, which I suck at. So I kind of abandoned that and learned about California Institute of the Arts in my senior year at high school, and went to Cal Arts in their character animation, what they called the Disney School program in 1979.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
So that's from there. I got hired at a little startup studio, which they didn't have that word, back in the early '80s, but that's what it was. And I worked there for a little bit until that studio folded. I went into illustration and paste up for a little while, and then got a call from Disney, where I'd been putting my portfolio out, for like the last couple of years, and Disney called back when the Black Cauldron, you may remember.
Oh,
I've not seen it.
Yeah, it was very special effects heavy, and 2D effects are they're anything that moves but is not a character. So shadows, highlights, flames, water, rain, wind, dust, everything that was 2D effects, and they had a ton of it and not enough people. So they were hiring anybody, with any kind of animation know-how and had an opposable thumb. And, so I got into Disney that way, and kind of fell up the ladder from there.
Nice.
That's
awesome.
incredible.
So one of the very first work that I remember is watching the cartoon version of Beauty and the Beast, because
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I know about
So
this.
may I ask how
You directed it.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah. May I ask how you got into that?
Oh, I got into that. Okay, so my co-director, Kirk Wise, and myself, we had been in, after working together in storyboard, I had worked on The Little Mermaid, and then we both worked on The Rescuers Down Under in the storyboard
Good
department.
movie.
And then we got put into what was called the development department, which back then was very different than development departments today, where people read scripts and books and take submissions and all that. Back then it was like daycare for people that Disney didn't want to fire but didn't have any work for. So they just put us in this building, this kind of industrial building, and said, all right, just draw a bunch of pictures. And
There you go.
Mickey Mouse Halloween, and so we'd like, okay,
There you go.
here's Goofy with Frankenstein and Mickey with a sheet on his head, and, and that was what it was. And we got a call to fix a pre-show for an Epcot attraction that he had been worked on in Northern California, and it was not coming out well. So we were tapped to fix it. It was a show called Cranium Command in the Epcot Center. Look for it. You can maybe find it on YouTube, but it was shut down some years ago. The whole pavilion was shut down. Anyway, so Kirk and I worked on that. It was just this little 4.5-minute pre-show. That was our first directing gig. We went back into development, figuring, okay, well, that was fun. Let's get back into, what do we got now? Goofy of the Apes. All right, we'll start Goofy swinging on vines, shit like that. And then we got a call from our boss, who said, can you be on a plane on Wednesday to New York? You might get to direct Beauty and the Beast. So what had been happening while we were working on this Cranium Command thing was Beauty and the Beast had been in production for like a year in London already.
Oh, wow.
With a different directing team. John Hahn was still the producer, but it was a different directing team. And it was coming out not to the liking of the studio executives. So they put a halt to it and said, because it was like it was very stately and pretty, but dull. So they said, let's do that Ashman Menken Little Mermaid magic to it. So wanted to make it a musical, and the directors at the time had no interest in that. So they left the project, which left a vacuum. And Kirk and I were not the first candidates. They approached Rob Minkoff, who you may remember from Lion King.
Oh,
yes. Amazing movie.
Didn't
And
you work on that too? Lion King, or no? Didn't you work on that?
You did
I
work
did
on
in storyboard, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, storyboard.
I did storyboards on that.
Cool.
But so Rob was asked to direct Beauty and the Beast, and he said, okay, I'll do it if you give me complete creative control. And I'm sure after the laughing stopped, they said, do you remember what studio you're working for? So they passed on Rob, or Rob passed on them, and they asked another guy who was not interested because he wanted to get into live action at the time.
Yeah.
So they came to Kirk and myself, who they figured, well, they didn't screw up Cranium Command, let's get these guys. And so that's how we got in. Like, literally right place at the right time when there was an emergency. So.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Everybody on that movie is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, people go, oh, how do I get into doing that? It's like, well, I mean, I can't give you a good path because we just like opened the door and the tornado took us away. So
yeah,
it's an amazing movie, and it's crazy to think the voice of Chip only had one line, if I'm right. Because I know he said
he's got a couple.
Yeah,
such lines.
it
Yeah.
was the mama. There's a boy, the girl, and the castle.
But,
That was it.
The girl.
hey, he got paid
Yeah.
good money to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
He did. He's still around.
Yeah. But he was 5, so you know.
Yeah. That's
And he's like, what, 35,
We might have to find
now?
him.
Oh,
So we're Facebook friends. So
There you go. We'll get him
wow,
on.
nice, nice. Then we can probably get him on
he's a
then.
totally
That'll
cool
be.
guy.
Hey, the more
He's a
people we
totally
get,
cool guy.
the more we can. The more people we get, the more we can
The more
move on.
People get. You know what you do? You have your people reach out to our people. There you go.
Yeah, the more we get, the more we can.
Yeah.
The more
Right.
we
I
can-
have to bring it up because there's a very underrated Disney movie, and I know Martin agrees with me that you worked on Oliver and Company. What was that like?
That was for me. That was like kind of a training movie
Yeah.
because I had come off of effects,
Yeah.
special effects, and was being put into storyboard. So that was my first storyboard gig, and the only storyboarding I'd done before that was at Cal Arts, for my student film.
Yeah.
So it was more of like a learning experience for me. I did, I had a couple things that actually made it into the film, but not many.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was like kind of a little bit of a troubled film because one of the directors passed away like during production.
Oh,
and,
yeah, I think
you know,
I may have
so-
heard about that.
So there was like kind of a pall over the film at that time. But my big learning experience in that, before this time, I had been a big fan of like rapidograph and like fine line, because from my illustration time, like real fine line illustrations, a lot of cross hatching, all that. Which for storyboard, it looks good when you're this far away, but when you're pitching on a board across the room, it's hard to read.
Yeah.
And one of the old veterans, Vance Jerry, came up to me and he said, and he took it away, and he gave me a box of crayons, like
Wow.
not like regular crayons, but like the kindergarten crayons that are like
Oh.
as big around as your thumb, and it had like 5 colors in it. He said, "This is all you can use."
Oh, wow.
And so it really makes you think, like, okay, what's important? Because your line is like this thick now instead of, like a hair. And so it really makes you simplify and think about what's the most important bit. And my storyboards were like in green and blue and purple crayon, for like 6 months. And Vance never came back, to like check up on me or anything like that. I finally, after 6 months, I went, so how long do I have to keep doing this? He goes, you don't have to do it at all. I mean, I just thought it would be a good,
Yeah.
so I got rid of the crayons like that day, but
Yeah.
I didn't pick up my old pen either. I started working in like kind of a thick, Sharpie, it's a thicker,
Nice.
bolder line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I believe really helped my my storyboarding and my visualization. So beyond that, I mean, it was kind of low ranked in the in the story team, so I wasn't privy to a lot of the meetings and the upper level stuff. So
Yeah.
I can really tell you how that went.
It's fine. And like I said, it's very underrated. Like I watched it earlier on Disney Plus this year, and I was surprised how very good it is. The music is what
Yeah.
does it as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty good music, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Billy
like Billy
Joel,
Joel and
Scott,
Ed
amazing.
Diddler and yeah.
Why should I worry? So many amazing songs.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Let's go.
I mean, I always think. Well, can I ask you, how is it like to work? Since you were the storyboard artist on this, how was it like to work, on The Lion King? Like, did you get a chance to meet any of the cast members, like Matthew? I forgot what his last name is. Matthew Godsey or Matthew? I don't know how you pronounce his name, but
Matthew Broderick.
yes,
That's Roger.
Broderick.
yeah. Thank you.
I think Elton John wrote some of the music, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
John-
did amazing.
Yeah.
I did actually. That was the first time I got to see Elton John. We were like in
Wow.
a meeting,
Wow.
and I can't remember what it was for. I think it was like "Can't Wait to Be King" or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were all in the room, and then like in came Elton. It was like, oh wow, that's him. Wow. And then we got the word. It's like, okay, just the directors and Elton and everybody else, you're excused. And we're like, okay, well that was it. But beyond that, I mean, it was a cool project to work on. I mean, I worked. Brenda Chapman was she was the story supervisor, and I was actually like opposite with her. So I got to see a little more of the inner workings, and plus, Roger. Roger had been our head of story for Beauty and the Beast, and now he was directing this. So we had a closer relationship than I had like with George on all of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got to sit into meetings, and when there was story problems, because you may or may not know, Lion King was not very popular at the studio when it started out. There was not a lot of confidence in it. People didn't do very good at all. They were like kind of calling, well, it's Bambi with lions, and they didn't.
I can see that.
They didn't really think it was going to do well. And in fact, Jeffrey Katzenberg had like some assembly where he was like trying to pump everybody up and keep the morale up. But he said, guys, I got to tell you, we've worked on good movies and we worked on other movies, and this might be one of the other movies. If it breaks $100 million, I'll eat my hat.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody did present him with a hat, which I'm pretty sure he did not eat at the time. But so it was a little bit of a troubled film, and I did get to sit in on some of the meetings where we said, well, what if it's more like, what if there's more kind of epicness to it, like more Arthurian, where the king is the land and the land is the king. When the king is gone, the land dies. That that kind of stuff. And, and a little bit more Shakespeare to it. So that kind of pumped it up a bit.
Yeah. And I know they remade it live action. Yeah. They changed some stuff, which was okay.
Which I didn't see, because I saw the trailer for it and went, eh.
I played this. You wouldn't have been happy. Yeah.
Remember?
They changed "Be Prepared" into a poem.
"Be Prepared" was a song that I storyboarded.
Exactly.
So.
It was a song, and they changed it into a poem.
Yeah, and they
changed it to what?
They changed it into a Martin. Can you mute your mic? It's a little loud.
Yeah.
They changed it into a poem.
A poem?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know? They also got rid of the Dress and Dragon Do the Hula thing for kids.
Well, for the live action.
Yeah.
I can't see that working in live action anyway.
I can't either. I'm happy with what they did, though, because they did a homage to Beauty and the Beast with it.
The Hawaiian word chant, yeah.
They added the orchestra in there and had Timon singing it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, they added some things in 2004 as well. So remember the Lion King 1.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, they added more things.
That's a good movie.
That's funny. That's funny. I like it.
Good song.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it seems like
I have to ask this because going back to Being the Beast, you weren't.
Huh?
All right. Going back to Being the Beast, I have to ask this because I miss him. What was David Ogen Stiers like, or Steers?
Oh, he was great.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. I mean, off mic, he was kind of a joker and a prankster.
Yeah.
But on mic, he a lot. In my opinion, the funniest line of the movie was his that he wrote. He would ad-lib a lot at the microphone, and we were fine with that. And when we were in the control room and they were out in the recording room, we would say, if you've got a better way of saying this, a funnier way, a more emotional way, whatever. We said this to all the actors. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and record it. Record it as written, but also record your own version. And some of them didn't do that very much, and some did more. And David was one of the ones who would go, all right, just a minute. And he'd spend 5 or 6 minutes writing stuff down, and he goes, okay. And then he'd start.
Yeah.
So the line where the Beast and Cogsworth and Lumi are looking out over the balcony, and it's snowy down below, and Belle's walking around with her horse,
Yeah.
and the Beast says, "I've never felt this way. I want to do something for her, but what?" And Cogsworth says, "Oh, there's the usual things: flowers, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep." And that just broke us up, because that was David's line. He came up with that.
That's cool.
That and like 6 others, but we said that's the one. That's what
Yeah. I didn't know
So
that.
he was hilarious. I remember at the we
He
had a
seemed
press
like it.
tour in Florida, and Kirk and Brian McEntee, the art director, and I were like walking around, and we're walking like back to the hotel, and we hear somebody yelling at us like, "You
Yeah.
goddamn kids, get off of my lawn!" And what's happening? Like in the fourth floor, there's David like, shaking his fist at us.
No.
He was incredible.
He was
and
really
he was also
fun.
incredible. Yeah, he seemed fun, especially in later movies like Lilo and Stitch, which was one of my all-time favorites.
yeah.
Amazing.
He was our good luck charm. I mean, after Beatty, we said we have to find a role for him in everything we do.
I
And
can
the
tell.
other productions, like the ones that weren't myself, they also said, "Yeah, he's good." So yeah, like Chris brought him in for Jumba,
I love it.
and
Yeah.
he was in
Jumbo's great.
in Pocahontas as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those
We
are actually
we
good
might
movies.
try to get Chris on. I can't find a contact for him, but I'd love to
Yeah.
talk to Chris Sanders because Lilo and Stitch
Yeah.
is my favorite.
He would probably talk to you. I'm not sure if I have a contact for him anymore, but
We'll find him,
yeah, he's a real good interview.
and I love his work. Martin, I feel like you should ask a question because you
Yeah,
haven't
Martin.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have a question.
Go ahead.
So, what was it like, doing, like, all the, Shrek specials, like the Hall Scared, Reckless, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What was it like working on those?
They were both a little bit different from each other.
Yeah.
The first one I got on as a story artist. It had different directors, and it was like kind of spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
But I was like, what the hell? I'll just keep the storyboards, and did some boards. I think the board I did was Donkey and the reindeers just like going berserk, like out of control up at Santa's workshop and basically destroying the North Pole. And they said, "Well, this is really funny, but this would be like wildly expensive to produce." So I was like, "Okay, well, whatever. I'll do something else then." And I can't remember what I was doing. I think it had to do with Donkey and Puss. Like the story originally was Shrek was on the naughty list.
Yeah.
Because ogres
Oh wow.
are naughty. They just are.
Yeah,
And-
it makes sense.
And Donkey and Puss were like, "No, that can't be. We gotta go change that list." So they went up and they were like trying to sabotage Santa's list. But that story was just like spiraling all over the place. And one of the other story guys and myself said, this. I think we can write a better story. So the two of us, like starting at like 11 o'clock in the morning, just started writing. I was like at the computer, and then he was just like walking around channeling all the characters, and doing the voices for everything. And I was like writing, and so back and forth. So we basically wrote the script for Shrek the Halls in a day. I mean, we finished it at 3 a.m. and hit send. And the next day it was like, okay, good news, bad news. Good news is they like your script. Bad news is you have to do it now. So we had to produce, this thing. So that was the last one that had like the original cast members. It had Mike Myers and Antonio and Cameron and Eddie, and so we worked with them. And we flew back and forth to New York a little bit, to like record them, and it went fairly smoothly. I mean, it was a fun project to do, And when it came out, we're like, hooray, we're done, and it came out okay. And then they said, well, would you guys be interested in doing a Halloween one? And I'm like all about Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween is my favorite religious holiday. So I said, absolutely, let's do that. And Sean and I did a lot of the writing again.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff was thrown out. I mean, it's because it's the segments, the little stories where everybody trying to scare each other.
Yeah.
I think Claire Morrissey wrote the Gingy one, like Night of the Living Gingy.
Yeah.
Which we thought was great.
It is.
And then Kristen Shaw did the voice of Sugar, the girl that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she was fantastic also. But all the main characters, they were sound-alikes because the main crew was either booked or DreamWorks wasn't paying enough, or for whatever reason. So we had sound-alikes for Donkey and Puss and Fiona and Shrek, and so, but it worked out okay. The production of that, a lot of it was done in India. DreamWorks had contracted with a studio in Bangalore, and so we went to India for a lot of it was done, over the wire, with like it wasn't Zoom, but I mean it was like whatever the precursor of Zoom was.
Maybe
just
Skype,
like,
maybe Skype.
Video conferencing, yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah.
And the time difference was substantial. So it was like we either had to stay till like 8 o'clock at night, and they were just getting up, or it was the other way around. We'd have to be in at like 7 a.m. and they're like just at the end of their day.
Yeah.
But it also kind of worked out because if we gave them, if we were at the end of the day and said, okay, we need this fixed and this, all these different things, and we go home and go to bed, and they were just starting their day, and we come in the next day and it was done. It's like, wow, great. But we did get to go to India and see the studio and meet with the crew there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, again, that was a fun film.
They're both amazing and incredible, and the Shrek, they both still hold up. I bring this up because on the topic of Shrek the Halls, you voiced Santa also. What was that like?
Well, I did it for the scratch track.
Yeah.
Just like not being very serious about it. And and it was like it sounded like kind of like a drunk Santa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of channeling the Santa from A Christmas Story, the ho ho, that guy.
Yeah.
And, so it was a little bit of that, but a little more, just and when it came time to do the real record, I think Gina Shea said, let's just use Gary, and I thought, really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So like every year I'll get a residual check for like an embarrassingly small amount of money.
That's awesome.
You did the voice on Shrek the Halls. Here's $2.17. Like, woo!
That's incredible.
The best one, I got one literally for 1 cent. It's like,
oh boy,
it cost you more to mail this than maybe.
I gotta ask this because I know you worked on Shrek. What is your thoughts on Shrek coming back? Because he's coming back soon.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on who does it and how they do it. I mean, he's a great character, and there's a lot of other great characters. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of great potential, but of course, that means there's potential for it going wrong also.
Yeah.
So if they get a good writer and a good team, I'm all for it. We had an idea for Sean Bishop, the guy that I was writing Shrek the Halls with. We had an idea, for one of our own, and we pitched it. And at that time, they were not interested. They didn't want to do another Shrek. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm initially when I was at Disney and the first Shrek came out, I was not that impressed with it.
Yeah.
You know, because it was like, oh yeah, they're making a lot of Disney digs, and I mean, we'd make more fun of ourselves than this. But
Yeah.
you know, I do like it. Shrek is good, Fiona's good,
Yeah.
the kids are good, Donkey and Dragon, and you know, Puss, and
Yeah.
like all these characters. Gingy is a crack up. Pinocchio I love because he's such a little shithead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the big bad wolf.
my gosh.
So yeah, I'm all for it.
I definitely am, because the last
Yeah.
Puss in Boots was amazing.
Yeah.
The last Wish was good. I recommend it if you haven't seen it.
And the last Shrek was good
Yeah,
too.
I
Shrek
did,
Forever
I did,
After.
yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, Shrek Forever After is good. I haven't seen it. But
I think the only one I have not seen is the second Puss in Boots one.
it's worth it.
I hear it's
Yeah.
really good.
The animation is good as well.
Yeah, I hear it's really good. Oh, they've got great animators, so yeah,
Yeah,
I have
DreamWorks
no
is
doubt.
Great. DreamWorks is great at animating stuff. It's like very rich.
Yeah. They're still working on stuff. Like
Yeah.
Illumination. Actually, no, it's not Illumination. Somebody just announced the Garfield movie, which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Honestly, I thought.
I heard there was like some kind of,
Yes! Zootopia is amazing. The
Yeah,
sequel's
I thought
happening.
Zootopia. I thought Zootopia was kind of like DreamWorks. It kind of does look like DreamWorks a little bit.
It does. It feels like DreamWorks.
Yeah. It kind of does, but you know,
that's Disney though.
yeah, but it is Disney.
Yeah.
They must have used some type of engine that was similar to yours that you might have used. I don't know
Maybe.
though.
That movie's
I
amazing.
remember when How to Train Your Dragon, the first one came out, and that was like the biggest hit that DreamWorks had in a while.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah,
the
that was
time, the
good.
press couldn't believe it was a DreamWorks movie.
It was good.
Yeah, I know.
and Disney does it again, and we're like, hey, come on, that was us.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I remember when my school actually played that movie multiple times. I had schools that actually played that movie on like Fun Friday or whatever.
I had school stuff in that movie too. Like, for example, I went and saw live action Charlotte's Web and Polar Express was cool.
Say, oh my god,
So, yeah.
yes. Those are good movies too. Love those movies.
Good movies.
Well, okay, one of my favorite parts of Shrek the Halls is I actually watched Shrek the Halls before we actually started this interview today, and I watched
There you
it
go.
last night
That's
too.
the thing. We watched it earlier.
I watched it
haven't
last
seen it in a
night
few
too,
years.
and let me tell you, I like the part where
Maybe
like
right.
There you go.
I like the waffle part where like
Oh, the
waffle is
giant
like,
waffle Santa.
Donkey.
Yeah,
Donkey.
Santa.
And then Donkey, and then he realizes it's Shrek saying Donkey, and then Puss says inappropriate.
That's incredible.
That was hilarious. And I
Yeah.
really like it
Like I
because
said, it's been a few years since I've seen it.
you know-
I probably should watch it again.
You should.
Yeah, you should. I just really like the movie because it actually teaches us something. And then Fiona says maybe we never asked what Shrek really wanted. And that was his first Christmas.
Right.
you
Good
know,
point.
With people.
Well, that
You know?
was the thing. It's like he thought, okay, I've got a family. I should do this right, and he had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to do it for everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when everybody crashed the party, it was like, this isn't right. So yeah, it just like went
Yeah.
way out, like off the rails.
Yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
But I mean, I think probably the best line in that kind of sums it up is when Donkey says, "Christmas isn't Christmas till somebody cries," and everybody I know goes, "Oh shit, that's true."
Yeah, me until somebody cries. I mean, yeah,
Family is a tricky thing.
that's a good message,
dope.
you know?
Yeah.
It's a good message because
Yes.
the thing is, Christmas isn't, about, isn't about, of course it's not about gifts, it's not about, the food, it's not about, all the, a Christmas tree. The real meaning, well, in our time, it's really Jesus, but the real meaning of it overall, the real non-religious meaning is actually love. You're supposed to,
Yeah.
that's the real
Love
reason why
and
we
togetherness,
celebrate it.
being together. I mean, almost Thanksgiving like being thankful for each other and being
Exactly.
together. And that's not always easy, That's not a given that's going to go great.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of movies over the years about Christmas, Christmas gatherings. The Chevy Chase one being like one in particular, but
Yeah.
the Christmas can be a minefield. When
Yeah.
you've got extended family coming in and friends, and just all the holiday stress. Yeah, it can be. It's not all gingerbread and candy canes. It can be tricky.
It is.
Absolutely.
I gotta bring this up. Speaking of Shrek, you did work on some of the stuff for the theme parks. What was that like?
That was very different. It
Yeah.
was. I mean, every theme park thing we did was different from each other. So every one of them was a learning experience. So we started with the Shrek Adventure in London.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we kind of wrote the whole thing.
Oh wow.
Just like kind of laid it out. They took us Merlin Entertainment, the guys that run that. They took us through their attraction that was just like right down the road from them. It was called the London Dungeon, and it was like this big building that you and like 35 other people like walk through, and it's all indoors, but all the rooms and hallways and everything are decorated and tricked out like exteriors or other interiors, and it's like going through the sordid past of London. Just like here's Jack the Ripper, and here's Guy Fawkes, and all these different things. And they had like kind of limited little bits of media, and they said, okay, we want this but more. And so we wrote the story, and then had to figure out how are we going to get Shrek in here? How are we going to get Puss in here? Because we couldn't do animatronics. The budget just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So we have a fortune teller with a big crystal ball, and Shrek's head appears in that. Or we would have screens on the wall that we made to look like a window, and Donkey comes up and goes, what's going on? And so you would kind of cheat the characters in like that, and then the live characters were humans, from the movies, like Doris from The Poison Apple, or Sleeping Beauty, or just other characters.
Marty.
We had a Fiona, the human version of Fiona.
Oh yeah.
So the big animation bit in that was when everybody goes in, they get into a big red London bus with like a big wraparound screen, and then the bus flies off, and so you've got this movie going by. So it's a little virtual reality because it's all around you.
Yeah.
But you're not wearing a headset, and you're flying over far, far away. You're flying over China. You're flying, so there's Poe on a skyrocket. So yeah, it was just like figuring out all that stuff. What you can do in animation, what can you do in prop building. So when we went to other parks, like in Dubai, they had different different requirements. We did a How to Train Your Dragon one, and they had places where, and you're just like on this ski lift, and you're like floating through this environment. So they had physical environment, and then screens like built into the environment. Then we would build dragons into that, or kick up an Astrid, or whatever. So yeah, it was just like figuring out what can you do, how can you pull it off, and try to work that into the story.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a Universal Studios. I don't know if it got to Florida or not, but it's the
I actually went to see that. I went to go see that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Pose.
Oh yeah.
What is it? Unstoppable Awesomeness.
Yeah.
And then we did another version of that for Beijing.
All right.
So again, it was like a first person, like again like a virtual reality, but without the headset. So you're sitting in a theater, and everything's just going by you.
There you go.
There
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know one of my friends is going to Universal in December.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll let him know about that.
Yeah.
The one in Hollywood or Universal City, I guess it is.
Orlando,
They call it.
I believe.
Yeah.
What's that?
Orlando.
Oh yeah,
Orlando.
yeah. So the one in California used to be, it was like the Shrek 3.5D ride or something like that, and they just totally reworked it. And
Yeah.
so we did a pre-show, where people walk into what used to be Farquaad's dungeon, and now it's just this big room it's like a movie lobby, and the balcony is all screens, and so the characters come out and talk to the crowd. Then the doors open up and you go in.
That's kind of.
Excuse me.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Wow.
I know. Sam, don't you have viewer questions? I know you do.
I think, yeah. Do I have? Do I have viewer questions this episode? To be honest,
totally.
I did.
Remember?
No, you know what? I did not get that. I did not get that. So, I think this episode, I don't think, but normally I think
There you go.
they're normally
We don't have any
normally
viewer
recap.
questions.
Yeah, normally they're recaps, and I'm sure she would probably ask the same questions like she had for, the others that we had.
Yeah.
So to really be fair, I don't know if I should just go on ahead and just do the questions for the sake of it, or, because
It's fine.
should I just do the questions? Because
It's your show.
They're
It's
the
your
exact
show.
same
Yeah, it's your
questions.
show. Do what you want.
Well,
You're the
and
boss.
And to really be fair, Tori's like the only person that really. Shout out to Tori Benson, y'all. She's like the only person
Yes.
so far
Shout out
that
to Tori Benson.
that has actually gave us questions. Tori, thank you.
That's the cool thing about this podcast. Viewers
Steve.
get to make questions.
Yeah, I take after James Nobes because to be honest, I know the other podcast didn't do that. To be honest, I want fans to interact. Because if you interact with me, I want to give you guys a chance to interact with your favorite star too. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't give you that opportunity. It would not be fair.
Yeah.
But usually, I'm sure we're just gonna go on ahead and just say her question. So I'm probably gonna redo the questions tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Also,
with
just want to
Stephanie.
point that out. The other podcast, just want to point that out. The other podcast is Jake's Happiness Hour Show, which is a good podcast. I was
Yeah.
on it for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
It's an okay podcast.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
But honestly, she would probably ask these questions. She would say, "What's your favorite thing about the work that you do?" Of course. Of course.
Okay, for animation, so I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's creating something, and honestly, there is that, and that's something that's come more, kind of more in focus and more important, in later years, is that stuff that I worked on 30 years ago, like half a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
That I was just doing my job and working, but I have people coming up to me, who are in their 20s and 30s, and telling me how much it meant to them. Like films like Atlantis that didn't really do that well.
Yeah.
Back in 2000 and 2001, 2002, and people saying, "Oh yeah, I love that film. It meant this to me, and I relate to this character." And even heard a girl say she got into archaeology because of Atlantis, and that kind of stuff. Like, oh my God, that's like, I remember right after Beauty and the Beast finished, after it wrapped, Chris Sanders and I had gone out to lunch, and we were at a McDonald's, right? And we're sitting in the McDonald's, and we're just talking about whatever, and the film had been out for 3 or 4 weeks, and over the intercom, over the sound system in the dining room, Beauty and the Beast started playing. I don't remember if it was actually Angela or if it was the Celine Dion version or what, but it was Beauty and the Beast. And Chris and I went, how about that? But like right then, from like 2 or 3 places in this dining room, we could hear like little kids, like 3-4-year-old kids going, Beauty and the Beast. And we went, oh shit, what do we do? You know, and that was really the first kind of realization is like, God damn, we're having an effect on people.
Yeah.
And you know, and that was something, you know, kind of profound.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna go on ahead
Yeah.
and get to the last one that she said. She says, who are your biggest inspirations in animation? I believe I'm just gonna say that.
In animation,
Yes, probably. Who were your biggest inspirations? You know, in whatever field you work.
okay, in like basic art and drawing, without a doubt, my biggest inspiration was Sergio Aragones, who was a Mad Magazine cartoonist.
Oh wow.
Um, he in Mad Magazine he did. There was one called The Shadow Knows that was a good one. But most people remember him from the old Mad Magazine, the little cartoons in the margins, you know, just these little like one panel cartoons in a margin. Um, that were his drawing style was super clear, super funny, communicated like $1,000,000. It was always good. Then he and I believe it was Mark Evanier did a comic book for years called Gru the Wanderer,
Oh,
and and also really good. Wait a minute. So that's the character of Gru.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. I think I've
Yeah.
seen something like that before.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's done a bunch of stuff, and every so often he'll do, you know, like you know, some other illustration or, you know, some other work. His stuff is fantastic. So drawing style, I was very much influenced by him. Animation, I got to say, my probably biggest influence was the old Warner Brothers stuff. The Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig,
Nice.
Foghorn Leghorn.
That's awesome.
Again, a great animation, like really seriously good animation, but great writing, great characters. Less good animation, like kind of not good animation, but still
Yeah.
great writing and hilariously funny was the old Rocky and Bullwinkle, which I just love those. I mean, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
They're not very well done, but they're so well written and so funny. So Rocky and Bullwinkle with the Fractured Fairy Tales and, you know, all the other Jay Ward stuff that came after that, like George of the Jungle and Super Chicken and, you know,
Yeah.
all those others, they were also big inspirations. So, which people think, oh well, you worked at Disney, it should probably be like Donald Duck or Snow White. Or it's
Walt
like,
Disney.
yeah, I like those, you know, sure. But for me, I got into animation because of the shorts, the animated shorts.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Of course.
I gotta bring this up. Speaking of shorts, you worked on a short that a lot of people forget or haven't seen. Like I know two of my friends haven't seen, which is the Madagascar Penguins Christmas short. What was that?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's a
weird,
classic.
but that was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
and again, that was, I believe, kind of the first time I got back into shorts after working on features for, you know, 20 years. And it was like a little weird at first, but that was where I thought, hey, this is why I got into this business, was doing these. And it was kind of a relief. Okay, A, because the characters were hilarious. B, because the characters were already kind of thought out. We didn't have to do any like discovery and create. It's like just take these great characters and run with them. You know, you don't have to like figure out. So who is the skipper? What does he do?
Yeah.
You already know. You know, and he just coughs up dynamite and blows shit up. So that was the fun. Is that we didn't have to like figure all that out, and it was such a short form. There wasn't time for like a big learning curve and a lesson and all that. It's just like run around and cause chaos, and that was the fun of that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
amazing.
It was always it was kind of always weird. To be honest, that the person the person that did Nana, well, not the person that did, but like where the Nana person lived, I was like, oh boy, I was like, I kind of thought it was a little weird. Like, her building was in New York City, and I'm like, oh wow, that's
I
really
gotta
cool
watch
how
that
they
stuff.
design. It's cool how they
You're
design.
talking about the old lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was voiced by a woman in her like early 30s who was like hot as hell. So
Oh wait.
It's
There was
still
there was a woman voiced in her 30s. Oh my gosh. Dang.
yeah,
Dang.
Yeah, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, and everybody is incredible in that. John Gimaggio, and everybody else. So yeah, John's awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
it was a fun one. Like I said, it was like it was a shorter schedule, and there wasn't as much. I'm not going to say none, but there wasn't as much executive scrutiny on that one because we were the little fish then. They had big multi-million-dollar features to worry about, and we were just like they're doing funny stuff. So I was like, all right, just keep going.
There you go.
All right. Well.
Don't forget to put Christmas. Have a Christmas message. It's like, okay, we will.
There you go. I know how I saw it was on the original Madagascar DVD because it was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you broke up for a second there. What was that?
It was on. I know how I saw it was on the original Madagascar DVD because
Something's going on.
that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's probably it might be on Martin's end, but
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah. All right, well, I hate it much
No, but yeah,
now.
it was on the Madagascar DVD is how I saw it.
Oh, okay. I think it originally went out with the Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were Rabbit.
Good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie too. I love that movie, The Were Rabbit.
I
I
saw
love
it
that
this
movie.
year also.
Dude, that's awesome too.
Pretty much all the Wallace and Gromit I think are great, but yeah, that was one that was a DreamWorks one, and that's where the Penguins
Yeah.
initially went out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a good movie. I might get some people from who worked with Aardman on here too. We gotta get some people that worked with Aardman on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of Wallace and Gromit, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be coming back. I don't know.
I think.
So is that like Nick Park and Peter Lord and those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Be cool. We had good people who worked on that movie.
Yeah. We got to. Oh yeah.
Anybody you have contact to, send them our way. There you
Yeah,
go.
send them, please. Anybody that you know, please. Oh
Tell
yeah,
him.
man.
We'll get Kirk on. I can't find a contact for him. Maybe help us get him.
Yes.
I do have a contact for Kirk. He's tricky to get a hold of though.
Oh.
He's slippery, but less so now than he used to be. He used to be like totally reclusive, and he didn't talk to anybody, and he wasn't on social media. And then a few years ago, he turned around. So he's all over Instagram and he's on Facebook, and
I'll find him.
so you can find him there.
Wow.
We'll find him.
Wow. Okay. May I ask you this question now? Okay.
Yeah.
How is it like to be a part of Tammy Tucky's inner podcast? How is it? How was she like?
Oh, she's great. I mean, she's such a sweetheart, and I mean, she's a fan of so much of what we do.
Yeah.
And so, but she's very knowledgeable about it. She's very respectful of the whole process and the whole thing. Plus, she's just really fun to talk to.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get her on because she's done some pretty good.
She can help us get a lot of people.
Yeah, Tammy Tuck can help us too. Tammy Tuck, I know that she had one
Incoming.
person that I wanted on there. She had somebody from like Flick's Musical Adventure on there who was also on Animal Jam as well, on a Jim Henson show called Animal Jam, which was shot up there in Florida. So it's a good
She is well connected. I will say that too, because she gets a lot of people.
Yeah, I think she told me she didn't really have contact with that person anymore, but I can probably tell her what she can try to do. Not trying to boss her
send her a
around,
list of
but,
guests that we want.
because we got to get some. Yeah,
Yes.
we're trying to get people on here. and
Yeah.
we could use all the support we can get.
Yeah, so you send it out. Be like, hey, I was on this podcast. Come on. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
I know. I told them, but I'm trying to get Aaron Blaze, who also worked at Disney.
Right.
Very cool.
I don't have contact information for him, but he's another one. I know he's on Facebook. I see him pop up there all the time.
I know Floyd is also on Facebook. Also, Floyd Newman.
Floyd Norman, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Norman.
I'm not sure if he's on Instagram or not, but yeah, he's on Facebook. Floyd's all over the place too.
We'll get it.
Nice.
He's like on tour, but yeah, Floyd was one of my early mentors.
Oh, wow. I know he appeared on Pawn Stars.
Yeah,
Nice.
and he's great to talk to.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Mostly what I see of him on Facebook, because he does like commission drawings,
There
like
you go.
Cool.
Disney characters and such. And so I'll see those, and it's like, man, just like perfect drawings. There's Mowgli and Baloo, and there's Robin Hood and Maid Marian, and there's the Aristocats, and there's Alice. It's just like all characters he can draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's really really cool. Yeah. Do you know anything else that we can talk about that he wrote on? Didn't you do
Yeah,
Kung Fu
anybody
Panda?
else?
Kung Fu Panda. Didn't you do stuff for Kung Fu Panda as well?
Yeah, you did.
For
Yeah.
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda. Well, I was one of the early directors of Kung Fu Panda 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was going in a direction that the studio didn't care for. So I was booted off of that and replaced. So I mean, I had a little bit of input into that, but more so when we were doing the theme park rides. So got to work.
Yeah.
I didn't really work with Jack Black. I mean, I met him a couple times, but that was another thing for the theme parks. We had sound-alikes, so but we did get to work with James Hong, as Mr. Ping,
That's good.
or Goose Dad, and James was great. I mean, for like, God, he was in his mid-80s when we were working on him, and he was still, God, he's so good, so funny. It's like still full of energy. So so that was real nice. But yeah, I mean, working on Kung Fu Panda, Unstoppable Awesomeness, and we were gonna do. There was in LA and I know other places as well. There was a place that did virtual reality kind of adventure stuff, where you literally put on the set and you would like walk through a maze.
Oh.
And one of the ones I remember was a Star Wars one. So you put it on, and the people you're with, you're dressed as stormtroopers because you're infiltrating an Imperial base, and so you're sneaking around, and you got to figure out codes, and at some point you pick up rifles, you're fighting stormtroopers, and it was a real kick. And they wanted to do a Kung Fu Panda one, so we wrote a whole Kung Fu Panda thing for him, and then COVID hit, and the bottom fell out. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sucks.
But yeah, that would have been something that would have been fun to do, but
It was.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we didn't get past storyboards on that. So there was a couple projects like that, where it's like going really good, and then whatever circumstance happens,
Yeah.
We were doing a VR roller coaster for Universal Osaka. That was How to Train Your Dragon. So you would be flying a dragon,
cool.
and you're like literally riding a roller coaster. It's like the Space Mountain roller coaster track. But you've got a VR set on, so it looks like you're flying through those big, stone pillars over the ocean, and there's dragons all around, and that was fun. But Comcast bought, I guess, Sky TV at that time, and they needed to scrape together several $billion, and stuff that wasn't as important to him got scrapped.
Oh,
That was why.
oh man, oh my, dang. Wow.
There you go.
I mean, that's sad.
We'll find more.
Yeah.
We'll find people who worked on that stuff.
Yeah, we can. We can definitely.
They do have. I mean, Osaka still has this ride. I mean, when we were on it, it was like a Evangelion ride. So you've got these sets on, and you're riding through post-apocalyptic Tokyo in some kind of flying speeder, and there's giant robots battling it out. And so it was. I mean, I know it works. The tech is there.
Yeah.
And they were going to do a Lupin one as well. So you're in that little yellow car bouncing around over the roads and everything, and it would have been great.
Would have been.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What you gonna do? You can't do anything about it.
Yep.
I know. Going back to the contact people, I will contact the What's in My Head podcast guy who I found you through, and hopefully he can help us get other people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
reach
out.
Yeah. Maybe he might. Maybe he.
I know he's had some people I've won on. For example, Rob Paulson.
Bro, oh my gosh, yes.
What is that noise? I have to ask that. I've heard that the whole
What's
interview.
that noise, Martin?
I don't know.
What's the noise?
Good enough.
Oh.
He's figuring it out. Anyway,
Okay.
keep going.
Okay, yeah, it's been going on for quite some time. He's been going up and down quite some time,
Yeah.
and I couldn't really.
I think that was my heater or something.
Oh, that was your heater. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh
happens.
boy.
That happens.
It happens. Call her. It doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that happens. Well, honestly,
Like a cat
yeah,
with a microphone or something.
yeah. Honestly, it's kind of calmed down now. The sound's kind of calmed down now.
Yeah, that's way better.
Yeah, but
I know
Yeah.
I don't have any more questions.
Yeah.
Martin, do you?
Martin, do you have some questions you want to ask?
Actually, yes.
Go
Um,
ahead. Take the spotlight.
So, how did you, get started in, doing, voice acting and stuff like that?
Yeah, how'd you get started with voice acting? 'Cause
Yeah.
you only did one.
I mean, for me, it was pretty much like the rest of my career. It was kind of by accident.
Yeah.
That we would be doing a project, and when we're doing the storyboards, we usually, you're still figuring stuff out. So you're not going to call the main actors in to do, to record, because they're going to cost a lot of money to do lines you don't even know if you're going to keep yet. So we would do scratch voices, and it would be me and a couple other people, and we would just do I'm doing a version of Shrek, or I'm doing a version of whoever, and most often it was in Hunchback of Notre Dame. The voice I did was the old heretic, the guy who goes, I'm free," and falls into the stocks.
Yeah.
And that was something that on storyboard they said, okay, we need somebody to do this. Okay, I'll do it. And it was a scratch voice. That was all it was. And we put it up and figured we're gonna get somebody a real actor to do this. But when the time came, Kirk and Don said, no, we like your voice better. So they just kept it. So that's how, my bad Grandpa Simpson imitation was what made it into the movie. Same thing with the Shrek the Hall's Santa. It's okay, just do the Santa because we need a ho 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 as he flies across. So I did it for the scratch track, and they just kept it. So I'm not a member of SAG. You know, I don't do this like I don't do this on a regular basis or professionally, but I did do a couple just like kind of, you know, here we need a scratch voice and we're going to get rid of it. We're going to replace you, and then they ended up not replacing me. So, and I had to sign papers, you know, say okay, yeah, I understand. But if you're asking like how does one get into voiceover, that can be a little trickier.
Getting angry.
You know, I mean, because there's like casting directors and agents and everything. They've got people that, you know, they do tons of this stuff, and you know, you got to do like a demo tape or a demo reel.
Yeah.
See what kind of voices you can do.
Yeah.
The best advice I can give to people who really want to get into that is, number one, start with a loop group, like a crowd, because if you can be like in a crowd of voices and stand out, you know, because oftentimes you have a crowd and then some people get out of the crowd. Oh, we've got this miscellaneous character here. Can you do that? And that's one way that people can stand out. People like Phil Proctor and
he's incredible.
Those guys, Frank Welker, you know, they started out like smaller like that, and you know their careers are amazing now.
Yeah.
So Frank Welker started out as an animal imitator. He could do animal imitations, and nobody else could.
Yeah,
and so he got in. So he's like the monkey in Indiana Jones, and he's like cows and farm animals in Babe. You know, he's like all these different animals, and pretty soon it's like, oh, he can do voices too. Oh, he can do a lot of good voices. You know, so now he's like major characters in stuff.
Yeah.
So and then the last one is if you can imitate or mimic a celebrity voice, because celebrities don't always have the time to do like a commercial or a video game or you know whatever, and so they'll call upon somebody who can do a good Eddie Murphy or a good Cameron Diaz, or you know.
There you go.
And if people can, if you're a good mimic, that's another like toe in the door.
Well, we talked about that last episode. We actually talked about it last
we did.
episode. You know, sometimes, you know, some of these celebrities don't have the time. I know in the Kung Fu Panda show you had somebody else other than Jack Black.
Dick Winger.
Yeah.
So, but most celebrities are not going to return to video games because they don't have the time to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like Michael Goff is Shrek.
And they don't pay as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get as much for a movie and they get like that much for a video game.
Mm-hmm.
They may have renegotiated those contracts, you know, because of the recent strikes. But
that's what we
for a while, you weren't getting anything for video games.
Thank goodness. That's ever. I will put this out. You mentioned Phil Proctor, and I've actually had the pleasure of interviewing him on the other podcast I was a part of, and he's nice.
Yeah.
He's worth coming for this one. And Frank Welker, like I said, is still going. He's still doing Scooby Doo to this day.
Yeah.
So,
Who is this?
Frank Welker. Still going with Scooby and them.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Exactly. He's one that I'd love to talk to, but he's always busy. Him or Scott Inez.
Yeah, and he's also Curious George as well. I remember him from Curious George. And dang. That's pretty cool.
Here's a question you probably don't get asked. You talked about work in the past, but is there any projects you're currently working on that you could tell our viewers or us about?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm working with a studio in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
And we're working on a Christmas project.
Yeah.
Which I can't go really into detail on, and working on several other feature ideas. One is like kind of fairy tale based. Another one is a little bit paranormal based, and another one is also fairy tale based but more modern. And then I've also been approached by a studio in Tokyo to maybe do some anime.
There you go.
Nice. So hey, you're already getting a big button here, anime. That's another big button. So there you go.
I mean, so far it hasn't it hasn't been greenlit yet, hasn't been funded yet, so just waiting for it to start. It's something that's I wrote a couple script versions for them, and got my foot in the door basically, and they said, okay, yeah, when this goes, you're gonna direct it. And I went, woohoo! So
there you go.
I'm hoping it goes. It's a fun project, which I probably shouldn't go into too much, other than it's creepy anime.
Oh boy, yeah, I've heard that term,
If
creepy anime.
Yeah. If people want to find you or contact you, where can people find you?
I have a web page.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's GaryTrousdale1.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can find it if you Google just his name. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or listen to this podcast, or listen to the other one. You'll find him.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You'll find this dude anywhere. But this is my.
If you just search Gary Trousdale, there's a chance, because I know there's another Gary Trousdale who's a basketball coach, like a college basketball coach.
There you go.
So
there's a crazy interview
guy.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. We know you're not that Gary, so don't worry.
We know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you return to the podcast in the future if we get Kirk?
Oh, and do like a double?
Yeah.
Maybe we might. Yeah, we might do
Sure.
We should. Let's
Well,
find it.
but they're more fun because we'll contradict each other. And...
Exactly. That's the fun part.
No, that's a lie. That's a bloody lie.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. I'll find it.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, Kirk and I get along really well, and I mean, even after for a while we hadn't talked to each other. After he went one way and I went the other, and we didn't talk to each other for like 8 or 9 years. And then somebody just put together a lunch, at a restaurant we used to go to all the time. We got together. It was like we were never apart. It was like finishing each other's sentences and like, oh yeah, and do you see this? And so yeah, no, we are very compatible.
We'll get him. We'll find him.
Yeah, we'll
You
find
might
him.
have contact people you don't,
All right.
like Chris Sanders. I'm trying to find Chris Sanders. I want to talk to him.
I'm pretty sure he's on Facebook too.
Yeah.
I'll tell my friend. I don't have Facebook. I'll tell my guy to reach
All
out.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Facebook is for old people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's why we're there.
Yeah, that's true.
The friend is 20 something. Good to know. He's old.
Yeah. I mean,
There you go.
hey, we all have our social medias that we like and we dislike.
There's some people still on MySpace. That's for old people. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
for old people. Yeah, that is old.
MySpace. I did have a MySpace account. I'll have you know.
There you go.
Yeah, somebody in recent years set up one.
I think I still do have an account there. I just can't get to it anymore.
Yeah.
But
There
I
you go.
fell onto it accidentally a few years ago. And it's like, damn, it's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
It's like
somebody
me.
who had
It's like me with Facebook.
yeah.
I have it, but I don't have the information. My mom
Yeah.
has it.
Yeah, saying yeah, I'm not on Facebook too much either. Do you
Martin, what about you?
I'm not Facebook much neither as well.
There you go. Martin's the oldest, the second oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of this group, Martin's the oldest, and there's me.
And I'm the youngest here again. Like I normally am on some of my podcasts. I'm kind of sort of the youngest person that's doing
Hey.
this.
If you think about it, I was the oldest on the other one, so there you go.
Yeah.
Watch that podcast. Watch that podcast. Watch this. That podcast. Watch you and get in contact with you now. That'd be cool.
But,
Spread the word.
but yeah, for the last few episodes, I wasn't the youngest though. I was the youngest on probably most of the other ones. Like when I had other guests, like the very beginning ones, I think I was the youngest there. But I don't
Yeah.
entirely remember. I know for Ricky Boyd, when I had Ricky Boyd on, I was the youngest. I know for that one I was. I remember that specifically.
He's incredible.
Yeah, Ricky Boyd is a Muppeteer, by the way. So if you don't know who he is, he was a Muppeteer who actually did do some work up there, who actually did do some work for Disney, because he did stuff for the Muppets and all that.
Yeah.
So he's done some stuff for Disney.
They're still going the Muppets on.
Disney's a huge place now, so.
Yeah. And remember,
I mean, it's always been a huge place. That was the kind of place where people go, "Oh, you work at Disney? I know somebody there. Maybe you know him." And it's like saying, "Oh, you live in New York? I know somebody."
Somebody that maybe you know. No, you don't.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that puppeteer worked on a lot of things too. We're trying to get a lot of the Muppeteers on here, because that's mainly the most nostalgic for us. Anything from the Jim Henson and Hit Entertainment is more nostalgic for us.
Anybody you send this out to, be like, hey, come on.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I'll give you a link.
I don't know anybody that does that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay, because I've been watching a lot of these things. I've been watching a lot of these things that a lot of y'all have worked on since I was a very little kid, and to this day, that's why we call it entertainment treasure, because we're digging for the nostalgia here. We're digging some more information that we did not know.
Yeah.
That we did not know. So this is basically just a reported research. What I'm doing, this whole project is like
the news podcast.
You know, like a reporter research. Like I'm being like a mandated reporter and trying to ask, about lost. Maybe we know, and maybe we can know some things about lost media. Tip, guys. Tip. There you go. A podcast if you want to know about lost media. This is it.
Check it out right here. Here's the link. Just kidding.
This is it, folks. Check this out.
You're already on the channel if you're watching this. Watch the whole way through for a surprise. Just kidding.
Well, to be honest, I've kind of run out of everything, and we've been going on for a while now.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask the final question?
I guess.
I probably got time for maybe one more, because I have a
the final question. Okay, I guess we can ask. Go ahead and I'll just start it off, and then you can help me out, Wyatt. How about that? Would that work?
You want me to? I can start it off a little bit.
Okay, yeah, start it off for me.
This podcast is called Samuel Warwick's Treasure Talk.
Entertainment Treasure Talk with Samuel Warwick, which is me.
Yeah, Entertainment Treasure Talk with Samuel Warwick. Keep on.
Yeah, and usually what we do is we ask people, what is something that's entertainment treasure to them? Which let me rephrase that. When
tell me you can watch again and again.
Yeah, what is something that is like one of your favorite TV what is your favorite your favorite show or favorite type of entertainment, like a TV show, a video game, music, anything, what is something
movies, whatever.
What is something that is entertainment treasure to you when you look at it? What is something that is just throughout nostalgic entertainment media? What is the most important entertainment media to you? I guess I could say, what is something that you just cannot, what is a portion of it that you just cannot, you just would go back to?
Yeah.
I mean, I bounce around. So, it's like my musical taste is like whatever I'm in the mood for. So I'll bounce around for, YouTube is a big one these days.
Yeah.
Which it's like a rabbit hole. You can get lost in YouTube, but I mean everything from just like I live in a neighborhood that we got slammed last winter with the biggest winter in the last 50 years. So I started finding YouTubes of that. I was like, oh wow, check this out. So that was stupid but fun. Reaction videos. I watch a fair amount of those. Like watching guys your age listen to music from my time and seeing how they like, it's like stuff like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and King Crimson and these guys who are in their 20s and 30s who've never heard this, who've never heard Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
I have. I heard that many times.
It's that's kind of fun. So and then embarrassingly enough, cooking shows. I watch Food Network a lot.
I love cooking shows.
Hey! If it's nostalgic,
I consider it educational TV.
If you could, if that's something that you love, then it's what you love. That's what I say. And
exactly.
What you love is what you love,
right.
Dude.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's football season, so I do like watching football.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming on
Sure.
today. This has been another great.
I'll send you the link when it comes out.
It's been my pleasure, and thanks for asking.
Like I said,
You're welcome.
this may not come out the best, guys, but you know what? We got it done.
Yes. And I'll send
Yep.
the link.
I don't.
I'll send the link to you
I
when it
just
comes
wanted
out. It
to
should
get
be coming
something
out
done. I wanted to get something done just to
one or
get
two
this
days
done.
now. It'll be come out real soon, so I'll send it to you
It'll
through
come
email
out
when it
really
comes
Yeah,
out.
soon.
please.
It'll come out really soon. I usually get it out within a day or so.
It'll be out
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So
You'll get an email tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I usually get it out
That's
within a
real
day, but
soon.
my person hasn't really gotten to the thumbnails yet. I talked to the person that does the thumbnails or the banners. I call them banners. I'll talk to them probably later tonight, actually. So I'll talk. Well, her name is Maddie.
Yeah.
I'll talk to her later tonight and see what was going
Yeah.
on.
There you go.
And
You're the 19th guest.
yeah,
Can you
you're-
believe that?
Yeah, you're our 19th guest, man. This is incredible.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah, and if you guys are wondering about what happened to Stepney, she had to postpone. So hopefully
Right.
this episode we're going to be interviewing her. Next episode we're going to interview her.
Yes.
So let's
Yes.
just hope that she commits to it. If she can't, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Another time.
There you go.
There we go. But thank you,
All right,
Mr.
well,
Gary, for
let-
being on. I appreciate
Gary.
that.
Sure.
Keep
Let
us
me know when
out
you're
alive.
rotating
You're
Kirk,
worth
and I'll be back.
All right.
it.
Yeah.
We'll get him. I
All right.
found him on Instagram.
All right.
We'll get him. See ya.
All right. Thank
You're
you.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Aloha.
See ya.
All
That
right.
was incredible.
That was really, guys. That was incredible, guys. That was awesome. You know, it's
Purple. I can tell you this: if he comes when he comes back, Purple and Alex are coming back
Oh,
for that.
yes,
They missed a
absolutely.
good time.
But anyway, you guys, thank you guys for watching this episode of the podcast. I really enjoyed it, and just so you guys, we're still thinking of some slogans to say afterwards. But just know that, but just know this, you know, there's always entertainment treasure out there, guys. There's always going to be people out there that you can get. So if you want to start a podcast, just do it. You know, it's what we love to do. We just do this for fun. We don't do this for money. We just do it because we like to get research in, and we like to know some things about what's going
We're a group
on.
of friends that do it.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's really
Yeah.
good. But thank you guys for watching this episode of the Entertainment Treasure Talk. Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. And don't forget
you're
that
worth
there
it.
is always entertainment treasure out there. And keep digging and keep
Yeah, and
digging
you're
for
worth
more.
it.
And you guys are worth it, like they said, like Wyatt says. You guys are worth it. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Entertainment Treasure Talk. We hope that you had fun and that you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, maybe you'd like to watch or hear more episodes of the show. The link to the playlist is in the description. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more upcoming episodes. And don't forget that you're awesome and that you too are filled with entertainment treasure. See you next time for another great episode of the podcast. Peace out.